Hi guys! Welcome to our fourth lesson in one-point perspective drawing. Today we are finally going to be learning how to put together all the things that we've learned to draw a building using one-point perspective. So I'll wait just a few minutes to see if anybody joins in. Give you guys a chance to get the notification. Make sure I'm lined up straight. So today we will be using the same tools that we've been using along the perspective journey, which is a ruler and a pencil. As long as you have that and a piece of paper, we'll be good to go. I did do some inking at the end of this project, but you don't have to do that. I'm not sure I would do it again, but it is an option if you want to do that for the future. All right. I'm going to get started. I'm going to move this out of the way. Okay. Okay. So let's start by drawing in our first thing we need is a, hi John, is a horizon line. So you can draw a horizon line in a lot of different places, and we've talked about that in previous videos. You can always do it towards the top or towards the bottom. This one is going to be a little bit, like put your ruler in the middle and then just go a little bit higher. So we're kind of doing, I don't know, 3/4-ish. Hold your ruler firm and then draw a straight line. So that's going to be our horizon line, and then we need to put our 1-point vanishing mark. Now, in most of the projects, I've been putting my mark in the middle of the paper. Today, we're not going to do that. Today, we're actually going to put that towards the edge. I'm going to scoot this over so you can see. We're going to put this all the way towards the far side of my picture. So all the way on that side. Okay, let's see. I might have to draw my house close. I think this might be. I'm going to have to scoot my vanishing point, I think, off camera in order to see the building. Okay. All right, so now we'll start drawing my building. So what I'm going to start with is do the front face of the building. So the front face of the building in 1-point perspective is always drawn very straight, so horizontal and vertical lines only. So I'm going to draw my house. I'm going to have my house sit above the horizon line a little bit, or I should say go above the horizon line a little bit, but you need to leave yourself some room. So the top of my paper is all the way up here. I need to leave myself room for the peak of my roof. So don't draw your building too high above that horizon line, otherwise you won't have enough room for the pitch. So I'm going to start, let's see, I'm going to use the inch side of my ruler. Let's do, I'm going to do my line 1 inch above the horizon. Okay. Now I'm making the bottom of my box. I'm going to make my box, let's go 4 inches. Okay, now do the top. Okay, so here is the front of my box done. So I'm going to get rid of this line in here because I don't need it. Okay, now next step is I'm actually going to draw the front part where the, I don't know, the roof is here, this triangle bit. So I'm going to use my ruler here just to make the lines nice and straight. We're going to start working on a little bit of sometimes with perspective, we can have a lot of angles that need to intersect each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a line here. Point being right here on the edge of my box. I'm going to slide it up, do it lightly because we're going to erase some things. And now I'm going to do the other side. Make sure it attaches to this point of the box. So see how my lines intersect right here? So that is the tippy most of my, what do they call that, the pitch of my roof? Peak of my roof. Okay. Now I'm going to draw a little bit of, like, it's like the gutters or something of the building, so I'm going to put that in. My roof might go a little bit off the paper today, but that's okay. All right. So here's the tippy top. So this was the top of the inside of my triangle, but now this is the very top, including the gutter section of my roof. Okay, so I've done the whole front section of my building. So now I gotta start doing points of perspective. So I'm actually gonna scoot this over again so we can actually see my horizon line and my vanishing point back here, which sometimes people label as VP, vanishing point. So this one will be pretty simple because there's not a whole lot of points of contact that we need to do the perspective on. There is down at the bottom and the top of the front face of the building. We'll start with that. So take your ruler to the vanishing point and the bottom of my building.
You've got 6 people joined in.
Hello to all the new people that just started watching. Okay, I'm going to connect it here. Okay, so I've just made the side of the building. So I'm going to erase now this back piece of the horizon line because I don't need it. Okay, so in previous projects where we did our boxes, we have to decide how deep to make it. So at this point, I have to decide how deep I want my house to go. So it's going to follow this angle. So it's just straight up and down. I'm going to use my ruler, make sure it's straight, and just go back and determine how deep you want your house. I'm going to make my house pretty deep, right about to there, and then draw a straight line. So now I've established that this is my building. So these are nothing. I'm going to get rid of them. Okay, now we are missing a roof. So I'm going to scoot this back in so you can see it. So at the very tippy top of my building, all the way up here, I'm going to take this all the way down to my vanishing point. Now you can't see the vanishing point off camera, so I'm just going to do that. Now I didn't go all the way down because I don't need to, because I know that the end of my building's right here. So you're going to make a mark at the edge of my building back here. That's right here. This is going to be the angle or the pitch of my roof. So I'm going to match the pitch of the roof over here. And I'm going to keep going backwards until I hit that mark. And there's my mark. So here is the back pitch of my house. So I'm going to get rid of this extra line. Okay, see, so far we've just made the front and we've made the side of my house. It's got some perspective points to it. Now I gave a little bit of a gutter situation happening in the back here too. This also has to follow the point of perspective. So if my pitch of my roof is down here, from this point I have to go back to my vanishing point. It'll be really skinny though, but that's gonna be fine. Okay, so I've just made a very, very skinny little gutter line right there. All right, so now we're going to work on adding in the doors and the windows. So for the purposes of this, I don't really mind where you put the door or how big you make it. So I'm gonna put my door off to the side a little bit, not smack dab in the middle. But if you want to be more exact, you can. All right, so let's make it 2 inches tall. Okay, there's my door. Now I'm going to put a window in here. I always use the centimeter side. I need the inch side. I don't know. I don't think I want my window higher than my door. I'm moving my window. There we go. Let's just do that. Okay. Now, I did put a window back on the side of my building. Now, I did a little trick because I wanted the windows to be on the same plane with each other. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually extend a line from this window to the corner of my building right here. And I'll show you why. So I'm just going to extend really light because you're going to have to erase it. I'm going to extend a line all the way across because from here and here, we're going to go back to our vanishing point and we're going to create the space that our window is going to go into. So if I take my ruler from this point right here, back, and you'll notice I'm just staying in the building right now because I don't need to go all the way. My line doesn't have to be drawn all the way back to the vanishing point. That's just more to erase. This is the area that my window will be in, and it will be on the same plane as the window in the front now. But you'll notice, you see how it gets smaller as it goes back and bigger as it comes closer. So now you just have to decide how wide to make your window. The lines to indicate the size of the window will be straight up and down. So completely vertical. Okay, so there's my window. So now I will get rid of all the extra lines because I don't need them. Okay. Now, I also made a little bit of like a lip around the window here. So if you want to do that, it's still going to be using perspective. So if you come in the corner here, I made mine come in at an angle. It still has to follow the point of perspective because it would get thinner as it goes back. I don't know, I think it would come all the way over. I don't think you'd see this side. There we go. Okay. Okay, so just a tiny bit of detail now that we're going to put into our house is some of these lines that are on the front and the side. So the front of the house will be super easy because they will remain straight. They'll be all horizontal lines. So I'm just going to come through here and add some horizontal lines through the front of our house. Some of them are long, some of them are short, some of them are complete, some of them are not. You kind of want to make them random. So like this one, I'll make it go all the way through. See, I went all the way through the house. But then this one, maybe I'll make it break up. Maybe it doesn't go all the way across that way. Okay. Okay, so I've just drawn some lines to kind of indicate that it's sort of like a cabin. Now, these are the ones on the side that are going to be using the 1-point perspective too. So you can't just make them straight because that's not going to follow the point of perspective. They're going to have to be angled. So if you want to, they can line up with the edges of the one that have happened over here. I didn't necessarily do that in that guy, so you can do whatever you would like. But just make sure that every line that you do has to be on this 1-point vanishing. See how it's bigger over here, smaller over here? I'm just working my way up the building. Let me know if this is going too fast, you guys. Okay, so I just finished all of the side pieces. And then lastly is the roof. So we'll be repeating the same angles with the roof. Do these really light because I kind of did them like shingles, which means you do some, you don't draw out every single layer of the shingles. But I will do all of the straight lines coming this way. Okay, so I just did all of these angles going back into the vanishing point, but now the ones coming this way have to follow the pitch of the roof here and here. So you can come in with your ruler and see, I started to do that one, but that's not where it belongs. Use your ruler and you can come through here and start adding in some lines following the angle of the pitch. And I'm sort of doing every other row, just so you can get an idea. Make sure I match. And you could do more if you would like, but that just kind of gives you the idea so that it matches the pitch over here and here. Okay, and the last thing I think is I forgot to put the ones inside the front here. I didn't do very many in here though, so you just do a few. And then before I was totally done with this picture, I did go back, especially along the outer perimeter, and I just went over it like again and again and again, and that kind of creates a really nice dark crisp line. So when you're all done with this, I would go back and deepen everything up a little bit. Okay. All right, so there's that. Talking about deepening, I think this needs to be deeper so it shows the difference between the top and the bottom of the house, and maybe in a little thicker. So then I would go in and fill that in, but I won't do all of it. Okay, so we're almost here in the home stretch. The last little thing to do is the chimney up top. So we'll work a little bit on that. There's gonna be a little bit of erasing in here because some of the angles go inside of the roof, but that's okay. First thing we're gonna decide is how wide to make this. So you're gonna do all of the vertical lines first of the chimney. So let's start mine right about here. Go inside to the roof a little bit. I'm gonna come up pretty high, almost to the top of my paper. So here's one. And two. We're gonna have lots of lines to erase, so don't worry. And then three. Okay. So the first one to decide is this guy here, this side. This is the side that's actually facing us, kind of like this and like this. So the top line is going to be straight. So I'll start with that. So I want it to be this tall. Now, from this point right there, that's going to go back to the vanishing point, and that's going to give us the angle of the side of the chimney. See, I've just made the angle. So now I've got some things to erase. I'm going to erase the top here, erase the bottom. The next thing to decide is how deep to make it go inside of our roof. I'm going to make it stop. I should say I should start right where this line intersects. So I'm right here, if you guys can see on the camera. This is where the chimney meets the roof. And where they intersect, that's one of my points that I'm going to use for the angle of the chimney. It needs to match the angle of the roof. So it's right here. So I'm going to scoot back. That is my chimney. So I'm going to get rid of the lines inside. Okay, so you can see that clearly. There's the angle of the side. Okay. Now, from here, because that's the very end, that's where this line and this line intersect. That's a new point. So this point now has to go down to the vanishing point as well, and that will give us the angle of this one. Okay, so now I just made the sides and the front of the chimney. Now there's a top to it, and that's just really easy. So the front piece, remember it's going to be straight. I made it overhang a little bit. And then from here down goes to the vanishing point. Okay, so there is the chimney that I just made. And if you want to, there are bricks inside of the chimney. The bricks on this side need to be applied with the 1-point perspective. The bricks on this side do not. They are straight. So that one's going to be the easy one, so we'll start with that. Now I'm just going to make some straight lines coming down the chimney. And then when you come in to do the vertical ones, just make them not line up with each other. Like that. So these guys, the lines need to first start with is following the vanishing point. So I'll start up here. 1. There's 2. There's 3. And 4. Okay, so all of these have been done in the 1-point perspective, but the lines coming straight down are just that, they're straight, so they're vertical. So you can just kind of put them in wherever you would like. Just make sure that they're straight. Sometimes I will use the ruler for this, you guys, because I don't know what it is about doing perspective drawing. If you're not careful, the vertical lines keep creeping up on you in different little weird angles. So using the ruler kind of helps reestablish exactly where those lines should be. Okay. All right, so this is a very simple outline of a building. You could, of course, add more flares to it. And I also did fill these in, but you can do that later after we're all done with this video. You can fill in all the windows. But that is our first attempt at doing a building using 1-point perspective. I think after this video, we'll be ready to start working on 2-point perspective, which I think is much more fun. So if you guys are ready to tune in for that, I think that will be starting next week. But for now, I want you guys to work on doing this building, maybe making different windows, the door differently, put your own flair to it, and post them in the comments. Thanks, guys, for watching. I'll see you guys next time.